Stop. Today we're talking about brakes. Welcome to True North Auto.
In this video, we're going to talk to you about the 3 types of brakes that we think you should be aware of, coming from all the way your daily driver, your street driver, and your race car.
All right, what up guys? I'm starting off the list. We're talking about OEM stuff and daily drivers. So when it comes to OEM and daily driver, you're not going to want crazy pads and rotors. Now, one thing I always recommend, and everyone will say it with me, always do pads and rotors. Now, we'll get into that a little bit later on, but what my best recommendation is just go to your local parts store, you know, O'Reilly's, AutoZone, and you can get some pretty good stuff from them, and you can have a warranty on it. So if anything happens on the road, it'll be taken care of for you. Now, if you're going to be beating on your car, really using all of its ability, especially on the street, driving through corners, this is not what you're going to want. These pads do not withstand heat well, and they are going to warp very quickly if you're doing that stuff. So now, one thing I recommend is some top-notch Wagner Duralast Gold. If you're not doing gold, stay away from it. Gold is like a little iffy on it still, but that's like your AutoZone regulars. Napa has some really good brakes. This is all stuff that we would use at a regular shop that we are getting from the parts store, and you'll never have a problem with them, and if you do, you always have a warranty for them. OEM type brakes, one thing that we want to do is stay with a blank rotor. That's going to be the best for a OEM pad, and they're all going to be organic pads. Once you start looking into something a little more extreme, then you'll be going into different materials. With organic pads, they stop pretty decently during the cold. They're made for, you know, good stopping right when it's cold, and they don't produce much noise, which you don't want in your daily driver, sound like a race car, and they do not produce as much dust, which you don't want your daily driver looking like you just had a seized caliper.
Next, we're going to be talking about street performance. This is sometimes it's your daily, sometimes it's your weekend track car, something that you're just out taking on a spirited ride. Street performance, you're going to probably still stick with just a smooth face blank rotor. You can go for a slotted rotor. You can go for drilled. Really, drilled is just for looks. We'll get into that a little bit later when we talk about performance stuff. You're going to want to move into a better pad. We're talking ceramic pads. Usually, you can go a little bit higher, do like a low metallic pad. They're going to wear down a little bit more. They're going to require a little bit more heat to work properly, and they're going to provide like a little bit more dust. But it's all in the name of performance. It'll stop better, it'll grab better, and you'll have a lot more fun. Let's talk about calipers. Stock calipers, going to be more than enough for your OEM use, your street use, your daily use, even your spirited driving and mild track use. It all comes down to pads, rotors, and even tires. Using similar to stock size tires, more than enough. As you go up and you start increasing tire size, start increasing grip size, you're going to need more brakes, which is a good thing. Good problem to have. This car, stock tires, stock size, stock wheels. I don't need bigger calipers unless I just want to be steezy. But as I increase wheel size, as I increase tire size, grip, I'm going to need to go with a larger caliper, get more bite force, a larger diameter rotor, go from there. Now, if you have upgraded brakes, but you haven't upgraded your tires, you're going to outbrake your tires. Say I put big Brembo calipers on this car. I got nice pads, you know, EBC red stuff, yellow stuff, but I got a set of Ling Longs on this thing. I'm going to slam on the brakes, and ABS is going to kick in immediately. Or God forbid, you don't even have ABS. You drive an old car. You're going to lock up those brakes. You're going to understeer. Something bad's going to happen. Don't do it. Upgrade your tires first. Upgrade your brakes. Get good quality stuff. Always make sure that you can brake properly and stop in time. All right. I forgot already. Guys, going is good. Stopping is better. Performance mods, going fast, power mods, great. They make you enjoy your car a whole lot more, make your car faster. It's a lot of fun. Safety is paramount. Tires and brakes are important. Always buy good brakes. Don't buy cheap brand. And always buy good tires too. It's the one point of contact between your car, your precious babies, and the road that you drive on. Tires have a massive span of grip and tread wear. You know, winter tires, off-road tires, these have a really high tread wear. They're going to last for a long time, but they don't provide a whole lot of grip. You have all-season tires. All-season tires kind of in the mid-range. You're looking at like a 500 tread wear. They're pretty grippy. You can have a lot of fun with them. They're good in the rain. They're good in the snow. They're okay, you know, driving performance-wise. But as you go up, you know, summer performance tires, you get down to like a 300, even a 200 tread wear tire. These are going to be a lot stickier, and you're going to need more braking force to overcome the stickiness of the tires. Even further than that, you go into like an R888 tire from Toyo. Those are like, you know, downwards of like 120 tread wear. These are like bubble gum on the road. They are sticky, especially when you heat them up and start getting them grippy. They're also loud, but that's okay because all we care about is going fast.
All right, guys, so the third level, level 3, we're going to talk about track performance. Now, this is the most extreme conditions where you're going to get the most heat from your brakes, and it's going to put the most wear and tear on the components. Talking about rotors, you do not necessarily want to run a blank rotor for this. Sometimes it's best to run a slotted, possibly a drilled, depending on the brand. But just remember, you get what you pay for at the end of the day. A lot of drilled and slotted rotors have been known to crack on the track, and that's not good. Primarily, you're going to want to go with a slotted rotor. There are different types of slotted rotors. There's the J pattern and, you know, your typical C, whatever, slotted, X maybe. But at the end of the day, it doesn't necessarily matter. Something slotted is going to help the brakes get rid of the dust, and it's going to help dissipate the heat. Obviously, when you're on the track, there's going to be a lot of heat. You're constantly braking. This is where you can make up the most amount of time on a hot lap, is through reducing your braking distance. So ultimately, you're going to want maximum stopping force, and you're going to want something that can take that force over and over again. Now, talking about pads, there are many different types of pad materials, such as Liam and Joe had already mentioned. You have organic, and moving into a semi-metallic pad material. Semi-metallic pad materials are going to be very, very squeaky, and they're not going to perform well when they are cold. You might even have trouble getting them up to heat on the track on a cold day. You might have to do a couple laps before you can really feel the grab on them, but they are going to perform the best once they are up to temperature. There are a few different brands. Coming to mind is EBC Red pads and Hawk DTC pads, I believe they are. Don't quote me on that. I'll throw some stuff up here and like here so you guys can see that. I've been looking into Hawk pads for my car, my WRX that I want to track, and they have different options. So it ranges from 30 to 80, I believe. There's a nice little chart that Hawk provides. We'll put that here for you. That shows you the different operating temperatures. Now, a 30 is going to be operable at a lower temperature, and the 80 is going to be operable at a higher temperature, and different ranges are going to vary. I was looking on a forum, and I was reading that for something as small as a Miata, a DTC 60 in the front and a 30 in the rear would be best. You don't want to over brake the car, which is also possible. But that's something that you really have to worry about once you start running stickier tires and stuff like that. But ultimately, we recommend getting very quality pads and rotors for whatever you want to do before you look into getting bigger calipers or a big brake kit. They are very expensive. They're a lot of money, and you might not even need them. I honestly regret not getting high quality pads and rotors when I first started getting into tracking my car, because honestly, I don't think that I would need my big brake kit. I think it just adds flair to my car, and I'm embarrassed to admit that I spent this amount of money on it. Anyway, but ultimately, it's going to come down to what you want to do for your car. If you want to take it for spirited drives, you're going to want to look at street brakes. If you're looking to use it on the track more and not eat up pads and rotors all the time, you're going to want to buy some very, very high quality pads and rotors made for the track. All right, so at the end of the day, what we would recommend is figuring out exactly what you want to do, like we said before. Now, depending on whether you're going to go to the track a lot more, you find yourself saying, oh, yeah, no, I really like the track. Or you find yourself saying, oh, the track's very expensive. I don't really want to go to the track that much. I'd rather stay to the street. Figure out what you want to do, keep your calipers, and buy pads and rotors for either the street or for the track. Ultimately, though, you can't go wrong getting steel braided lines and upgrading your brake fluid. Especially if you're going to the track, you really don't want to be running a .3. You want to run a .4 because it has a higher boiling temperature, and you're going to be hitting those temperatures if you're braking, especially if you have upgraded pads and rotors. They get very, very hot. And the reason that you want to get steel braided pads is because your rubber ones will bulge and your brake pedal will start to feel very, very spongy, and it won't feel very direct. Obviously, you want to avoid that. What the steel braided does is it encapsulates the hose, and it prevents all the hydraulic pressure from bulging out the rubber lines. Nowadays, stock calipers, honestly, are pretty good. Technology is good. Functionality is good. They are engineered to fit the purpose of the car. And honestly, I think most applications, you'd be fine keeping your stock calipers. Like I said, experiment with a few different pad compounds, different types of rotors over the life of the car. And don't forget to just enjoy your freaking car and use it. Stop being afraid, oh, I need to get slotted rotors. Oh, I need to run semi. You know you don't. You just need to get out there and you need to just enjoy your car and actually use it to its ability. Because then, and only then, will you actually know what you need. The only way to learn what you need for your application is to perform your application. End of story. Now, another option for track rotors are going to be your two-piece rotors. This is where the hub and the rotor itself will actually detach from each other. So that way you can swap out the contact point between your pads and where the rotor meets, swap it onto the hub, usually just bolt them right on. Long term, it might save you a little money. They are a more expensive upfront investment, but if you're tracking your car, say like every single weekend, you're gonna go through a lot of rotors. I'm not 100% sure on exactly like how much money you would save, but since you can swap them out, you're buying less material. They are cheaper than buying like a whole set. Again, this is only very, very top of the line performance aspects, using it a lot on the track, where honestly you'd probably be just as fine with a quality set of slotted rotors. But they are an option. They look really freaking cool, not gonna lie, and they can be lighter as well. Always want to make sure that we're saving as much weight as possible on the vehicle wherever we can without compromising structural integrity.
All right, guys, going is good, but stopping is better. Always remember to buy good quality stuff and be safe on the road.
So make sure to stop, like, subscribe if you want more future content. Peace out and keep moving true north.